really executed things well, and guys came off the bench and contributed too. So always good to score a late goal, especially on the road, and get 3 points. Now we have a really strong Atlanta team, a team that has a lot of talented players. Obviously, an incredible atmosphere down in Atlanta. One where they're very good on the AstroTurf and can really hurt you with their great attack. We'll have to be very organized and compact. Recognize that we also are good on the counterattack and can be tough to play against defensively. Trying to limit their key guys will be certainly a goal of ours. And we look to kind of conclude a 5 out of our first 7 games on the road in really difficult places. So trying to end that stretch strongly and then go into a nice, much deserved bye week for the group. So I want to end with a really strong performance against Atlanta.
Thanks, Jim. Jonathan Tannenwald.
There you go. Hi, Jim.
Good job.
Here you are with being the last team in the league without a loss on your record. Even for as many games as you played in overall and as much of a slog as it was early on. What's that mean to you, and what do you think has gone into it?
Yeah, it doesn't always feel that way because we had one loss that is kind of stuck in all of our brains that hurt, and it was a bad one. But in some ways, that loss, gave us a bit of a reset. I still think we played some good games in the Champions League. We were outclassed by a really good Pachuca team that is kind of for me a dark horse to win the whole thing. They're that good. So went to altitude, paid for it. I think learned from it, and overall now, as you see in league play, like I mentioned, going to a lot of difficult places on the road, and not getting beat is something that we take pride in. So obviously, you always want to win every time you step on the field, but a couple of the draws are good draws this year. A couple of draws I think should have been wins. And I think we turned some, good results and turned them into 3 points on the road as well as recently as Nashville. So good performances from the guys. It's been a great week of training for whatever that is worth. The guys are confident. They're sharp. Everybody is healthy and fully participating. Even Leon, is out there on the field doing work, not quite cleared for full contact. But just to have the visual of him out there, I think is helpful, and he's really close. Hopefully, if things go well, he'll be back in training next week. So, guys are confident. They're playing well, but we also recognize the opponent in Atlanta is a team that if you're not organized and compact and ready for the challenge, it can go bad fast. And they beat a lot of teams handily in that building. Great fan base, tough place to play, and obviously dealing with the AstroTurf will be something we need to do.
Say everybody's healthy. We know, obviously, Andre is all the way back. Where are Mike Lure and Kai Wagner?
Both back fully. Both trained fully today. They've had a good week. Kai came back a little slower than Mikel. Mikel was back in training, right when we returned. No effects. I'm sure he's in a little bit of pain and soreness, but nothing that'll prevent him from playing and contributing. Hopefully in a big way against Atlanta. And Kai fully trained today, and a little soreness, but he's fine.
Matt DeGeorge.
Hey, Jim. A lot was made last year of Daniel Gazdag not scoring a ton from open play. I wonder if you see anything different in his approach this year that's leading to more goals. Is it just a matter of things bouncing his way? What do you think goes into that?
Yeah, sometimes that is the case. Matt, you get a break or two, you lose your mark in the box and you finish a playoff. Some years goalkeepers make big saves too, or maybe you miss a chance you'd usually score. So Danny's obviously still putting up big numbers goals wise last year. We do want more in the run of play, of course, from any player, or especially the number 10 position. But you've seen a really, really strong start to the year for him, getting goals, creating goals, and doing his job also defensively. So good start to the season. I say it to you guys all the time. He has a way of really being in the right place at the right time so often that it's not a coincidence and it's not luck, right? So he knows how to move in the box, and his instincts, his timing, whatever you want to call it, people just lose track of him. And this last goal to win the game is another example of it. He's free. He's wide open somehow at a critical portion of the game. And that's what you want your best players to do. Score that game-winning goal that turns a tie into a win, and it makes, 30,000 people go silent. It's really a big goal, and that's what you want from your best players.
Jose Nunez.
Hi, Jim. Good afternoon. The Athletic reported this week about some upcoming changes that are stemming out of the owners' meeting on Tuesday. I'd love to hear your opinion, obviously, from the let's say the Philadelphia Union sandbox, the roster that you and Tanner have put together, but then also maybe league wide. What do you make of the changes with the designated players? And obviously, it's all not official yet, but with the under 22s, how do you feel about them, and especially mid-season leading into the summer?
Yeah, look, I think the league has been very, strategic and calculated and not going too much too fast, but also finding ways to improve the quality that's on the field, increase the spending, whatever you think, brings about a better league. So I think you'll see some changes for sure. Is it unique to do that in the middle of a season? Of course, you have to adapt and adjust, and some plans obviously have to shift and change. Obviously, there'll be maybe some flexibility on how, designations of players maybe are tweaked a little bit. There's buyout options now. There's a possibility of maybe more U22s. How do you use them? Or maybe we, a club, and this is just thinking out loud, are we maybe a club that utilizes them on good young American players as a strategy for us, where you secure them for a little while and they I'll just say hit your cap at a much friendly number for the length of that contract. So strategically, there's a lot of internal discussions going on. What is the best way? Can you turn a DP into a TAM guy, or whatever? Every team is discussing these things right now. So it's interesting. It does change strategy. I've learned in this league, it's best to stay focused on what field you're considered an expert in, and that is the coaching side of things. So I kind of stay to that. Every time I dive in and try and learn the rules, there's a tweak and an adjustment, and the second you understand them, they might change a little bit, and that's a good thing. I think it's unique to our league. I think we have to do things our way, not to get so bogged down in copying everything that happens in Europe or South America or whatever other league it might be. Our country right now has an opportunity to build towards a World Cup in 2026. Obviously, you have Lionel Messi here, so you have a lot of eyes on it. So let's maximize it. I'm all for it. I think it's a good thing, and I think teams are going to improve drastically, and they're going to improve quickly. But I like how the league has done it, slowly, and it's not just the training wheels completely off, and we're finding ourselves in a crazy scenario where entire rosters are just turning over. So I like the calculated changes. I think that there's ways we can benefit from them. It will probably take some tweaks in strategy. Do you value, if everything gets finalized, do you value the 2 DPs with 4 U22s, or do you go 3 and 3? Whatever your club decides is going to be unique to that club. And I think you guys understand we have a way of doing things, and we'll maximize these changes that are possibly coming as best as we can.
And last from me, as in your tenure, you've gotten a chance to see a lot of MLS stadiums, both as a player and as a coach. Also internationally, being in Mexico and Costa Rica. Surface aside, what makes Atlanta so difficult for obviously teams coming away from home to play there and try to win or even tie, I guess?
Yeah, first of all, it's a beautiful stadium. I mean, it's for those people that haven't been there, it's unbelievable. No detail is left unchecked, from the coaches' locker rooms to the visiting locker rooms to the incredible facility, the suites. It's a perfect building. Minus the turf, obviously. And as a purist, you'd prefer grass, but obviously the crowd too. There's 50,000 people there, and it gets loud, and it gets loud quick. So again, we'll have to be at our max to get a result. They know how to utilize the spacing on that field, the turf, the different things that come with it. They water it before, so it's a fast turf as well. So there's little details that make it a real home field advantage for them, and they've been really successful in that building. So we have to be smart. brave for sure, but not overly confident because they have some real good attacking talent.
Thanks, Jim. Safe travels.
Thank you.
Jonathan?
Thanks, Nico. Jim, I was talking with Julian yesterday, and he says he's doing the same things he always does. It's a little good fortune that the ball's gone in the net for him as much as it has, but he also says that he thinks he's sharper at this point than he's been in a bit. And I wonder what you've seen from him.
Yeah, I think it's the best Julian Carranza has played. And we're seeing the best version of him. I say it all the time. He is the perfect striker for this club. And that part is clear. Does the defensive work, does the attacking work. I would not call any of his goals this year lucky either. He's earning every one. These are really top striker goals. The one that Quinn gives him a good ball in that, but he still has a lot of work to do against Nashville, where three guys are closing him down, and the quick release to hit the back of the net was special. So he scores a lot of different ways. Have to say too, does not take PKs. So again, if you could think about last year, the amount we had, his numbers would be astronomical right now. And if he had those opportunities too. So incredible striker, playing I think at his max right now, at his highest level. And my job is to continue that with him. I know he'll always put the work in. And he's highly motivated right now. I think it started in preseason, and he hasn't, aside from a little knock or injury, he hasn't taken his foot off the gas. And that's what the best strikers do. They get greedy for goals and they want more and more and more. And I think Julian's no different.
Transfer window opens in what, 2 months, 2.5 months, depending where the country is. Does your mind wander at all when it comes to him?
Of course, yeah, you think about different things, but he's a tough one to replace, certainly. Why should we completely rule out the fact of him playing here still? So there's always a price, there's always a number, and we'll see as time goes by what clubs come in for him. What we value him at, what could possibly be done to keep him here. A million variables go into it, but yeah, special player, and I'll just say 15 to 20 goal scorers don't grow on trees, and they're worth the most. It's the hardest thing to do in our game, hit the back of the net. And when you do it consistently like Julian, it's no secret a lot of teams are going to be interested in that. I've said it to you guys before, and I always talk about it. He has that Castellanos quality, where he's a little bit of a killer. He knows how to move in the box. He finishes his plays off. And he's a guy you love on your team and you hate to play against. That's the best compliment you can always get as a player, especially a striker.
The final question will go to Todd Lewis.
Thanks, Nico. Jim, MLS the other day released a stat highlighting the highest scoring duos to both score in the same game. Julian and Daniel are tied for the most with Javinko and Altidore for 15 games each, while Mikel and Daniel are also on the list with 11. Considering the significant investments made by other teams, by other teams around the league bringing in star players, how does this reflect on the club's scouting department ability to find impactful players without requiring substantial financial investments? And then additionally, do you think that front three in Philadelphia is overlooked by majority of the league?
Well, efficiency is the most important on the field, right? You can spend whatever you want, but it's been proven time and time again in this league. Money does not guarantee anything. It doesn't guarantee a player to be perfect on the field. There's plenty of 5, 8, 10, even $15 million players in this league that have not worked out. So finding the right player for your club is something that's important. I think our scouting department does a great job in that. Those tandems are really talented. Obviously, when you talk about Mikel, Daniel, and Julian, it's a front three that gives teams a lot of problems. It's pretty incredible that quickly they gelled together and are, like you said, towards the top in terms of a duo scoring goals. So yeah, great players. Great players tend to understand each other. And again, you could easily put a spreadsheet together that, whether it's the U22 initiative, the designated player, the TAM guys, there's still going to be mistakes always at clubs, but we try to minimize those as much as possible. So again, those two guys coming in a really creative way with Julian, and and good scouting to find Danny Gazdag, who translated really quickly and well to MLS. Speaks to that efficiency. They have efficiency on the field for sure, but we have efficiency with the players that we scout and recruit and bring in. And there's a reason, we value certain statistics and data, and we're drawn towards those types of players.
All right. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.